Dr. Paul Haider, Master Herbalist and Spiritual Teacher here, and today I'm going to show you how to make super simple sauerkraut. This recipe is nothing to it. And you know, sauerkraut's pretty forgiving also. A lot of people think, oh, it's very difficult to make it. It's really not. You know, this is the season for lots of great cabbage, you know, all around us. And you want to cut it in half and then cut it in quarters. And you want to take out the core in the middle, rip that out. Yeah, take that piece out and then slice it up. Yeah, if you want to do it, you know, really thin or really thick. I tend to want to make mine a little bit thicker. It's not, sauerkraut's not that particular. If you want to cut it in little tiny bits, that's fine. You could do anything your heart's desire. That's all there really is to it. And then you start taking your quart jar or your half-gallon jar or your gallon jar, either with a lid like this which has you know, been coated, or a plastic lid or a glass lid or whatever you want, and you start pushing this down. And one of my favorite tools is had from one of my mini blenders. Push it down with this and kind of squash it in there. It does a great job. Yeah, or you could use a spoon or whatever. It's not that particular. Put in a little bit more of your your cabbage. Keep putting it in there, squash it down. And then you're going to take your brine mixture. Now, brine, especially if you live in a hot climate like us, is really important. You take a quart of water, or basically a liter, a quart, about the same, almost the same. And then take anywhere from 1 to 4 tablespoons of non-iodized salt, regular salt, because the iodine will interfere with the process. So you want to use regular old salt. And then you pour that into the jar, and you want to cover everything. And we get it all the way up to the top, and you want to leave a little headspace at the top. And then you want to push this down a little bit more, get them all in there. You know, you could add garlic if you want to, that's great. You could add kale. I've seen onions and carrots in it. It doesn't really matter. Then you're gonna put on your lid, just like that. Not tight, just leave it loose. And I would set it in a bowl or set it in a plate. And here it only takes 3 days. It's extremely hot. Set it on the counter. You know, you don't want to put it in the sun or anything. You set it on the counter, set it on your dining kitchen table, something like that, or in the pantry, and check it, you know, every day. Also, you want to screw down the lid a little bit, and then shake it up every day 5 or 6 times, maybe 10 times, and to make sure it's all, you know, brining everything. And so anywhere from 5 to 10 times, shake it up daily. And in cool climates, this may take this whole process of actually the bacteria starting, which is actually in the cabbage. You don't have to add any bacteria or anything. The process will take 20, 30 days. If you're in really cold, it's snowing outside. Yeah, it may take a long time. Here in the hot climates of Puerto Rico, it takes 3 days maximum. And then you take the whole thing and you put it in the fridge. And put down the lid a little bit tighter and put it in the fridge. And use it as you need to. It's a wonderful, wonderful product for building up those probiotics. You know, most people only have a quarter pound, maybe even a half pound of probiotics in their gut. You really should have anywhere from 4 to 5 pounds of good bacteria in your gut. And because people eat fast food, because they're eating, you know, drinking alcohol, taking antibiotics, and all this different stuff, it really do a number on the good bacteria in our gut. Then when people end up with an overgrowth of bad bacteria or SIBO, and then they end up with all kinds of, aches and pains, and they feel miserable, and they have bloating. They end up with candida, they have H. pylori, they end up with all kinds of yeast infections, all kinds of things. The whole body goes crazy. And also they become depressed, and on and on and on. And this is really, everything is connected to our gut, and we need to eat a lot of fermented foods. Absolutely, positively, on a regular basis. I probably go through half of one of these at least every week. And I also buy kimchi. I don't make my own kimchi. That's a lot of doing. So I go to the Korean store or Chinese store, which sells Korean foods also, and buy it in the refrigerated section. And they do a great job, a wonderful product that they have. And you can also, there's a lot of videos on how to make kimchi if you want to make kimchi. Sauerkraut has over 200 different species of bacteria that it grows, which is really good for the gut. Kimchi, over 400 different species. So it takes a little kimchi now and then also. If you like spicy food, add a little bit of kimchi into your diet also is a great thing. Also, if you want to explore other types of foods. My wife makes some wonderful tomato pickles, which are also probiotic too. There's all kinds of different fermented foods that you can do. My grandmother used to make apple butter, which was also fermented. It would go down into the basement. It was in Indiana. Take the crock that was there, open it up, take out some apple butter, and use that. Always good. Also, the pickles were naturally fermented also. That's another thing you can do. And it's really great. The big barrel of pickles, you know what I mean? Open up the barrel. Here it is, naturally fermented in a cool place with lots of vinegar and salt. This vinegar is actually added a little bit later. Sometimes they didn't even add the vinegar. Sometimes they just kept it totally just with natural fermenting. And they would eat those all winter time, the whole winter long, and really great stuff. And so we had a natural cycle of eating these preserved foods, which were really good for our body. No unnatural preservatives of any kind. These were all natural things that were being done. But nowadays we eat all kinds of stuff which is really not good for us, so we don't ever build up that good probiotic process. In the wintertime we would end up a lot of fermented foods. In the summertime, lots of fresh raw foods. So we end up with this cycle that was going on a regular basis, so we build up our probiotics in our body. But nowadays that's not happening at all. People in general don't eat any fermented foods. So it's really important that people go back to eating fermented foods. I think in the future, eating fermented foods is going to become a natural part of our lives. And people are going back to natural ways of living also. And I recommend going back to simpler times. A lot of people are stuck to their tablets and their smartphones and their computers, and we have really gotten away from working in the yard. Yesterday I was out, I have a little chipper, and I was making compost to one of our trees actually leaned over with the rain, so I had to cut it back a little bit. And so putting that into the compost bin area and allowing that to actually ferment in its own way also. And that actually helps to heal the soil. Also in the Korean process of creating an actual process of making the fungi grow in the soil too. And they will go out to where they have bamboo growing, and we do have bamboo growing around the island, and you take half-cooked rice, organic white rice, and put it in a plastic box which has holes drilled all over it, and have it about half full, and then put a lid on it that has holes in it too. Kind of bury it up to the top of the lid, and put leaves from the bamboo on top of it, and bury it right next to the bamboo. These bamboo trees actually have a lot of good fungus there, and I come back in a couple weeks and you'll see that this fungus is just growing on this rice like crazy. It'll grow 3 or 4 inches, and then you take some of that, break off a chunk about, you know, this big. This is not rocket science. And take organic brown sugar and you mix it equal parts, and then you put it into a jar and add a little bit of water and let it actually ferment a little bit there and grow. It's actually growing. It's not fermenting, it's growing. And then you add it to more water and spray that on your soils, and you spray that on your vegetables and your flowers, and you start seeing that the mycelium, the actual fungus, starts growing in the soils. It's really exciting stuff. And you see those little white lines everywhere in your soil. Well, this is about feeding your soil, the microbiome of the soils itself. It's pretty amazing stuff. I have to say, I'm really honored to be able to do this type of thing. And so you can learn how to make a wonderful sauerkraut. This is so simple. Anybody can do this. You know, we reuse these jars. We get them for another purpose. That they're filled with something else. And so we reuse them on a regular basis. My wife also uses them for making infusion oils that she does. And you know, water and salt and cabbage, that's pretty inexpensive. You can make your own. And, you know, buying sauerkraut in the health food store in the refrigerator section, boy, I saw half a quart for about $12 yesterday. Not cheap. So you can make your own for hardly anything and really, you know, make yourself extremely healthy and make a change in your life. There's no doubt about it. We can get rid of the SIBO. We can get rid of the overgrowth, get rid of the candida. We can start eating also my diet at paulhaider.com. That's www.paulhaider.com. Up in the right-hand corner, you'll see my diet. Click on that, and we'll get you into being extremely healthy and feeling really good. And if you care to get a hold of me, my phone number is 831-869-9119. 831-869-9119. And maybe I'll do a video in the future about Korean farming. So anyway, make some wonderful sauerkraut. If you want to email me, my email address is drpaulhaider@gmail.com, drpaulhaider@gmail.com. My Skype address is drpaulhaider. Also, if you can text me and WhatsApp me and all kinds of things. But get a hold of me early. I'll go to bed at 8 o'clock, so try to get a hold of me early, and I'll try to help you in any way, shape, or form. If you want to do a consult, if you want to change your life, you need a little coaching, go to my Patreon page, and you can sign up, and I have 4 different levels there that you can sign up with, and I have a mentoring program and also have ongoing things of extra videos for you, specifically for your patron level if you like, and we can make a process of you getting healthy on a regular basis with me helping you along the way. So allow yourself to be healthy, allow yourself to make a change in your life, allow yourself to add some fermented foods into your diet, and allow yourself to grow those probiotics in your gut, which are extremely important. And allow yourself to feel free if you want to make a donation on my website. I appreciate that. And like I said, if you want to get a hold of me, feel free to. Remember, the most important things are, remember God, and remember, I love you.